I feel good today. Oh, Jaden Reed, Amon-Ra St. Brown, they're showing up early today. What is good, everybody? Welcome in to your daily sports and sports betting brand of record. I'm your boy, the coach. I navigate you through the next 60 minutes. We're going to break down everything Thursday night football, potentially the best game of the entire season. NFC North, big-time matchup. Packers and the Lions, third game in 12 days for both teams. Can't wait to break that down. Do not forget tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's DTL Primetime Live, a full show dedicated to just Thursday night football. Now, you guys know here at the brand, we have stuff running all over the place. We're also the most transparent show in all of sports betting. Yesterday, as far as daily picks, a light day. 2-1, but as you guys know, if you follow my guys on social media, we had wins all over the board, including crew exclusives. Now, subscribe to our YouTube page. Turn on your notifications. Every single time we start a show or content or whatever, you will be notified, including getting audio at 2 p.m. Eastern Time of DTL, the podcast. Fresh content every single day. If you are a crew member, a premium member, you get video of said podcast. That drops around 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, we always celebrate the life of Howie Schwab on the show. Crew Play of the Day selections. You can vote right in the chat. Packers, +3.5. Lions, -3.5. That number has stayed strong throughout the entire week. Over 51.5 or under 51.5. Also on your way in, I see a bunch of OGs today. You guys are amazing. Don't be lazy. Hit that like button on the way, and it really helps the show grow. Now, you guys know on Thursdays, we're getting closer and closer to Christmas. Every sport is rocking and rolling. Some getting a little more attention than others. But today, we try to get to everything. Ladies and gentlemen, best crew in the business. Time for the picks. Oh, and today, an embarrassment of riches. We have really a wide-ranging of ages today. Me and young Peyton in our 20s, and everybody else ranging all the way up to the 70s with our numbers guy. Now, first and foremost, I've been up a long time already today. I'm a little punchy, but I'm fired up to be here. He is live from Memphis, Tennessee, and he does the Memphis Grizzlies post-game show. You can hear it all over the place, especially there locally in Memphis. DG, good morning, sir.
Morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. I don't know what's different. This is the normal thing for you, being a little punchy. I like it. It's my favorite coach.
Yeah, I tell you what, punchy heel coach is my favorite version also. Maybe not for my kids, but for me and the audience, maybe so much. Now, speaking of, when we have two resident curmudgeons on the show, you just never know what to expect. First and foremost, he is the only 5-star chef in the game. Seabass, good morning.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. A little slow today. I'm hurting, man. It's late night. Lots of feedings last night.
Late night at the restaurant last night?
No, Coach, with the baby.
Oh, the baby. Oh,
baby.
My goodness. You're getting it on both ends. You're getting it on both ends.
Yeah, I was off yesterday from the restaurant, but whew, yeah.
I wonder if we need to talk a little more silently today? Do we need to keep it low today for the baby and for Seabass?
3 floors up. He's fine.
Raphael says, hell no. He's our numbers guy for a reason. Raphael Esport. Good morning, Raphael.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. I would take punchy coach over diet coach any day of the week, because when Coach is dieting, he's angry. So I would take punchy coach any day of the week. But good morning, everybody. That
version of Coach is coming back as well, and I'll explain that in a minute. But yeah, diet Coach is coming back, but for a reason. Now, finally, we are so honored that he could take time out of his busy finals schedule to join us here today on DTL. Now, I have to say that Soupy was talking trash because he beat you in the Soupy versus Salad Challenge on Tuesday. So, young Peyton, good morning. And anything you'd like to say to your nemesis, Mr. Soupy?
Yeah, good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. You know, he's talking like he shut me at, he went 3 out of 3 and I go 0 out of 3. No, he got one right. Okay. He beat me by, a guy, and I lost by a basket. you get bad beats sometimes. I'm going to come back Tuesday. I'm going to be fine. So I'm not worried about that. I'm just excited for the Thursday night game tonight.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You start by highlighting the fact that you both sucked on Tuesday, but you bring it back strong and talking about the game tonight. So that's what will morph us into our discussion. Producer man, I need to see that gorgeous graphic because tonight, Thursday Night Football, I cannot wait. DG, we're going to start with you. This number stayed at 3.5, the total 51.5. Both teams played on Thanksgiving. I love that the NFL schedulers do this, so we get a big-time game tonight. The Lions beat the Packers by 10 in Green Bay last month. Your early take today.
I love this matchup. I don't know if it's the best, but on paper, it's definitely the best. And so I'm looking at Detroit. Can they actually keep the record going and keep looking as good as they've been looking? Because the Green Bay Packers are fine. I like them as a whole. But Detroit really has championship aspirations, and so I expect them to come out and look good, especially at home. So I'm excited about this game. It is definitely one of the best of the season.
And you got two big-time quarterbacks. Raphael, are you surprised that the numbers have stayed strong where they have been for the entire week?
I am. I really thought we were going to see a solid 3 by this morning, and the total 51.5. The total would probably be bet down. The number has been coming down. It opened up at 53, so 51.5 is moving at 1.5. So it wouldn't shock me if we see 51, but I think we're going to see 3.5 all through game time because they're getting really good two-way action because of the Packers money line bets coming in.
And you guys learn all the time here on DTL. The number is based off of what the books need to do to kind of even those books. We learn that from Raphael all the time. So, Seabass, let me come over to you because if the Lions win tonight, it'll be 11 straight wins. That's a franchise record. If the Packers win, they'll get to within one game of the Lions. So it's big time for both, but the Lions are at home and they can sweep the season series. Your take?
I can't believe that this would be the first time that the Lions have ever won 11 games in a row. I mean, they're one of the original 6, aren't they? If I'm not mistaken, or close to it. So yeah, I'm excited for the game though. This is probably one of the most looked forward to Thursday night games that I've had in the last few weeks. So yeah, I expect a lot of action in this game. It's meaningful for both teams. It's rare that you see Green Bay and Detroit at the same time in the same season, both having something to play for this late in the season. This should be a good game tonight.
And you know what's crazy is you've got the Vikings that are in between these two teams. It's been an amazing season, young Peyton, in the NFC North. But here's another little stat that I want to give you, young man. The Packers have won 5 straight road games in the division, and they won last year on Thanksgiving in Detroit. So Jordan Love and this crew are not immune from winning on the road in this city.
Definitely not. And it's hard to take the Packers in this spot right now because, the Lions are the team to beat. But I do see, this game being a lot closer than a lot of people think. And it is, I know it's 3.5, but I see this game coming down to a final Jordan Love drive in the fourth quarter. So that's why I'm so excited about it tonight.
Oh, man. 4 straight times in this series, by the way, the road team has won. So that would mean that tonight it will be the Packers. Let's now pivot into our picks. We got a lot tonight, a lot for tonight's game. So here's what we're going to do because I'm starting to hear maybe they're a good teaser possibility. So Seabass, or what I like to call today, Baby Bassett. I want you to start us off because you're doing something a little bit different. I would love for you to educate, entertain right from the jump.
Coach, we're definitely going to play a teaser tonight for these for the Packers and the Lions. It's a rivalry game, but your normal standard teaser is 6 points, and at 3.5 and 51.5, I was getting a hook there. I wanted that 10 points. Excuse me. So I paid the extra. What's that, Raphael? 2 nickels. The extra 10 cents, a little extra juice. So I got that 10 point there just in case Detroit does happen to blow out Green Bay. So we're going to take a 6.5 point teaser. Find that on most sports books, DraftKings especially. And then tonight, we're going to have Jahmyr Gibbs over 90.5 rush and reception yards. Now, both of these teams, great against the run. However, that pass defense is a little suspect. Gibbs gets a little bit more action in the passing game. So I'm going to use both of those together, take his rush and reception yards.
Really, really smart there. Good start by Seabass. All right, young Peyton, coming right up to you. Because you're not going with Thursday Night Football. You're going college hoops, and you're going NBA. Talk to me.
Yes, sir. I'm going with DG's Grizzlies tonight to cover the spread at 3 against the Sacramento Kings, who shoot a brutal 29% from the three-point line on the road. And the Grizzlies are 7-3 in their last 10 games. They're coming off a really tough loss they should have won in Dallas. And when you're a good team like Memphis coming off a tough loss like that, you're looking for a bounce-back game in front of your home fans. I'm also going to go with Xavier tonight to beat my TCU Horned Frogs. So I'm betting smart, not with my heart tonight. It's tough for me to say, but it's going to be a rough year for the Horned Frogs. They don't have what they have or what they need offensively to be a competitive team, and they definitely are going to have a hard time matching up with Xavier's size and athleticism. So I'm going to take them to win tonight.
Clearly, young Peyton's never been on TV before, because you're going to be walking across campus today, and all these players are going to see you and go, was it you, the person this morning? Oh, yeah, that's you, King Lettuce. You got to start dealing with this. You're a celebrity now. You got to start moving like it. But I respect the pick. Raphael, big boy, coming right up to you. 2 big plays. Let's go.
Going to the NBA with the Phoenix Suns team total over 111.5 minus 110. They are playing the Pelicans. The Pelicans might be one of the only teams that fired their NFL coach and their NBA coach in the same season. They stink right now. Their defense is allowing 119 points per game. I don't care if Kevin Durant's not playing. Give me the team total over 111.5 because the Pelicans stink right now. And then we're going with Jared Goff over 1.5 TD passes. I'll lay the $1.25 on this one. I don't care because he throws 2-3 touchdown passes. Now we're going to see a high-scoring game. I think both quarterbacks hit this number, so I like Jared Goff at home to do this one.
All right, I like it too. We'll get to Jared Goff and the over-under is coming up in about 23 minutes from right now. Now, I see Japan in the chat says, I woke up, I just came here to make fun of coaches. 0 for 45 record into the chat. Clearly, Japan, you need attention and you need check marks, which is why tonight, if you guys are going to cash the coach, you're going to do it 5 different ways. We're going to start with the over. My gut tells me this is a full week that these two teams have had to rest. It's a full week. So I love the over 51.5 tonight. It's going to be sailing over to the 60. Jordan Love to get to 30, which they will. He's going to throw at least 2 passing touchdowns. Then Tucker Kraft. Not a lot of people know about this guy. He had 6 catches last week. He had 4 a month ago against the Lions. I think he goes over 3.5 tonight. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Big games means big players make big plays and have big yardage and a lot of catches. See how that rhymed? It didn't. But I like over 6.5 catches minus 110. Then finally, Jordan Love over his passing total. This goes with the touchdowns. Tonight, it's going to be a lot of balls in the air. I love Jordan Love to go over 275 tonight. DG, your final 2. What do you got?
Howie would say it's an F day. Well, I say it's an under day, and I'm going to go with Ayo Dosunmu, under 3.5 rebounds. It's at minus 25. He's only had 4+ in 2 of the last 14 games, and the Spurs are pretty stingy in the rebounds. So we're going to go with the Ayo under 3.5 rebounds. Then we're going to go with Dave Montgomery in the Thursday night game night. All we need is 15 yards out of him for receiving. He's had 20+ in 5 straight games. Green Bay allows the 4th most receiving yards to the running back position. So Dave Montgomery, calling on you. 20+ tonight. That's a little bit of 125 if you like that too. So all we need is 15 for this one.
All right. Very, very good. And by the way, as we go through all of these, we do understand, and I was kind of noticing this today, that a lot of basketball, and this will be a topic coming up, has been overshadowed by football and college football and the NFL. It's kind of the first time that I felt like it's been that way as well. So we'll see if we can rectify that, whether it's on social media or right here on the show as we move forward throughout December. Gentlemen, well done. I feel like it's a ton of check marks. I feel like I'm going to have 5. Peyton, I'm taking you under my wing when it comes to green check marks. All right, still to come. We got a lot to get to. We got over and unders. We've got educate and entertain. We have King Lettuce's prize picks for the day. Where else would you want to start? I don't care if you're making fun of me or just supporting the crew. It's DTL. It's a 5, and then it's a vibe on Thursday. All right, you degenerates out there that continue to watch on our YouTube channel. Now, we talk about Jahmyr Gibbs and Seabass. I don't know if everybody saw this, but he made a social media post the other day, and behind him was all of this verbiage that they used for the game. Dan Campbell was asking about it. He goes, well, we prefer it wasn't out there. Do you think this could be an advantage that the Packers saw all of the stuff that Jared Goff says when he's lining guys up and calling passes?
I can't believe that was done accidentally, intentionally. If like Jameer knew what was going on, he had to have. And if you look at Dan Campbell in that press conference when he's talking, like he's very Dan Campbell about it, and just interview, I've got to go. I don't know. It's very weird. I mean, it's almost like, remember Chris Cooley back in the day in the playbook where he was not having any clothes on, where he was online doing something. They were like, "Oh, you got the playbook." I don't know, man. I don't make much of it. I did not factor it into any of my handicapping for the game tonight.
DG, what about you?
Sometimes you let out some information so you kind of lead somebody on. Maybe they're trying to lead them on because they're going to actually make other changes. And so I think this might be a little bit of play and trying to figure out some tomfoolery, as they say.
We'll see. DG, I need you to drop off, come back, because you're all over the place with your talking. And as much as I want to tease you about it, I don't want to tease you about it. Raphael, let me come over to you. Is this a big deal or not a big deal?
It's a big deal that you made him drop off. I thought I was watching a Bruce Lee movie, but I think it's a big deal because of what happened in the press conference. I don't think it was maybe a trap to say, hey, this is our plays, because Campbell looked like he was hiding a lot of anger in that press conference. He looked like he wanted to say a Dan Campbell-ish kind of gesture to the media, but he was holding it all back in. I think it was, whoops, sorry, didn't know that was back there.
You got about 15 seconds for you, King. Lettuce.
Yeah, I kind of agree with DG. I think they're going to try to get some tomfoolery going, excuse me. But, get Green Bay thinking a little bit, are they giving us some stuff? But no, I think they're just
start that shit.
Interesting. Mark says, sounds like a Mike Leach decoy with the playbook. Maybe it was. We're back in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It is DTL on a Thursday. A reminder, tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We are live with DTL Prime Time Live, breaking down everything Thursday Night Football. And can somebody, for the love of God, get into the end zone on Monday night? I came that close on the first drive. That close. Not that I haven't let it go. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. It's about time for your boy to break that 0-45 record, Japan. It's no longer funny to your boy. But we got a lot of topics because this is a sports betting, yes, but also a sports show. We love to discuss everything that happens in the world of sports. And sometimes it can lead to a cash ticket, which is the ultimate. It's time to educate, entertain. And Aaron Rodgers continues to be the gift that just keeps on giving. You know what I mean, boys? Yesterday, our man was doing his weekly segment on the Pat McAfee show. Seems like there's 5 a week. And he said, and I quote, about being asked to audition for the Jets starting quarterback position next year, DG. He said it is, quote, ridiculous that a player of his stature would ever be asked to audition for a spot at quarterback, really in the entire league. Is this as arrogant as Aaron Rodgers has ever sounded with the Jets? Your thoughts?
Aaron Rodgers, this comment, it sucks as bad as my Wi-Fi signal right now. It is trash. Like, I hate the way he sounds, just so arrogant and just thinks that he's pompous. Not a big fan of this. I don't get it, and I hate my Wi-Fi today.
It's all right. I like Fuzzy DJ or Fuzzy DG. See, your Wi-Fi is causing me. This next level jokes right there. Seabass, let me come over to you because Aaron Rodgers is notoriously in a bad mood. And I feel like the times that he's in the best mood is when he's with Pat McAfee. But now he is starting to get to a point where I almost can't listen to him anymore. And this is absolute nonsense based off of the way that he has played so far this year. Of course, he would have to show what he has heading into a year where he'll turn 42 during the season. Your thoughts?
I can't believe it's taken you this long to understand that you don't want to listen to him anymore. I was over this guy probably 4 years ago, but that's you. This is me. Yeah, I want to know what his stature is that he thinks he has, because if you coming off an Achilles injury, you haven't looked very good this year. I mean, you're not Denzel Washington. You have to audition, sir. You have to show somebody that you still have the ability to either move up and down in the pocket, get outside, make the throws. The Jets are not a good resume builder for you. So I'm not sure where his thought process is with that. Maybe he's still living in the past of those Green Bay Super Bowls. Maybe those herbs he was taking during the offseason got his head a little foggy. But you got to audition, sir.
I don't know if he was playing for a team that has a really respected front office, if he would ever say this. I can't imagine a player saying this if they played for the Chiefs or the Lions or somebody that has somebody in the front office. Raphael, the Jets have always been a joke when it comes from ownership all the way down. What do you think they're making of these latest comments from Mr. Rodgers?
They're probably thinking he spelled relax a couple years ago. Now they wish he would spell retired. That's what I think they want him to do. And I think he's mentioning all this stuff because I think he is going to retire. I don't think he's going to play. I just think he's trying to get his name out there so we talk about him, because we can't talk about the team he's playing for because they stink. But yeah, I just think he knows in his back of his mind that he ain't coming back next year.
Well, Mark, better days ahead. So that's because players of his stature are usually having statues made of them because they have indeed retired. Mark, you're absolutely right. Young Peyton, I don't even know if you were carry the one. Yeah, you weren't even born yet when Aaron Rodgers was in college. So at this point, from your perspective, is this arrogant or is it kind of the way that athletes are now?
Well, all season it's been rough for Rodgers. He's got to put himself on the map with all these crazy statements. But I don't know about you guys, but I was watching the game this weekend. I kind of saw him as having a lot more like fun and enjoying himself in the first half. And he was like smiling after a lot of throws he made. And then he threw that pick six, and now he's all madman again. So, I mean, like, I don't know. And using the word ridiculous is a little crazy too, publicly.
I agree. I couldn't believe he used that particular word. And by the way, you'd be happy too, up 14, driving in to go up 3 scores, and then you throw a pick six to a 400-pound dude. Come on, we all would.
He needs a little more Jameis Winston in his life.
God, don't we all? Don't we all? They said Peyton's hanging with his uncles, Joe, and then Joe says Seabass is the cool uncle. Will you play the role of cool uncle for young Peyton, Seabass? Would you do that?
Only if I get you got a nice bar that you hang out down there at TCU.
Oh, yes,
a lot of tequila. A lot of tequila. We'll have some fun.
Yeah. The wife will love that. Between you and Big Tommy C, you guys are loving the home life right now.
Listen.
All right. Now, speaking of the home life, out here in La La Land, gentlemen, it is getting UGLY ugly for the LA Lakers. And last night, maybe the bottom of it. As the NBA, I think, has had a pretty good start to the season. Nothing that has been historic outside of the Cavs. But, DG, you're an NBA guy. The Lakers lose by 41. JJ Redick says, and I quote, "This is my team. I'll take the accountability." And then about 10 seconds later, he says, but we got to have accountability on the court. AD is now averaging down below 27. He was over 30 for the first part of the season. Is this – and then LeBron did have 29 in a 41-point loss. Is this the lowest during the LeBron Lakers era that we've ever seen this basketball team?
I don't think it's the lowest, but it's definitely it's depressing because you see King James, he's kind of going out on his own at this point. He's got this year where he could retire or next year. But this Lakers team and the Lakers in general, since he's been there, he's only won 50-plus games once. And so that's the year they actually won the finals. And so I don't expect this team to look good. If you have a bench that is comprised of D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent, Max Christie, Cam Reddish, and Christian Koloko, you're not going to be good. So you have to put so much on King James and Anthony Davis to actually be good. And so at that point, these guys are going to wear down. This Lakers team is cooked.
We have a brand new game. I don't know what we would call it that we're going to be releasing in the next little bit. That would have been a great trivia question for our new game that we're going to have the crew and everybody in our universe playing very, very soon. AB is working on it. Can't wait for that because, Raphael, what DG just said is paramount to what we've been talking about for a year, ever since LeBron James took the $50 million. This is what we expected when he refused to put people behind him. Is this his fault, and should he own it?
It's his fault. And then when I look at his beard, it's about as white as me. So his age's fault is true. So it's both fault. His age is he's getting older, and B, the team that's around him. And the bench is horrible. They're probably going to make some dumb trades during this trade offseason to try to bolster their bench, but it's not going to do anything because of the age of the starters. So it's going to be a complete mess all season long. And I want to jump back in the NFL. While you were talking, Coach, a couple books just moved the game to 3, and everyone else who had 3.5 either has even money or minus 105 on the line. So we could see a solid 3.
My man. Thank you very much, as always. You are a numbers guy for a reason. We'll see if that holds all the way up until tonight at 7 o'clock. Now, Scott says LeBron took the money. Look who just got into the chat, boys. Apparently, his ego could not take it. Young Peyton, your boy, Soupy, is now in the chat. But do you think Soupy's talking about sports? No, he's over here talking about wrestling. This is not Behind the Turnbuckle. This is not BTT. This is not Monday Night. This is DTL. So, Young Peyton, speaking of other shows that are on Monday nights or Friday nights, there's a lot that we can watch. Last night, I thought, man, the number 1 team in the country, number 2 team in the country, they go down in college basketball. I see nothing. And I start to think maybe because of the popularity of the college football playoffs, and you're on campus, you're in the Big 12. Do you think that the college football and the playoffs has overshadowed the beginning of college basketball, and then that ultimately hurts a lot of our handicapping because we're not seeing a lot of information out there? Is that fair to say?
100%, Coach. And, the biggest thing with that is that you get 12 teams this season in the playoffs. So with that, you're really seeing a wider range of schools, a lot more people involved. And at this late in the year, in previous seasons, we see maybe 6-7 teams really having playoff hopes. And that gives 6 or 7 schools, playoff hopes. So I don't really, now we just have a much wider range of a fan base. And yeah.
I can't tell if it's the stuttering in the take or the Wi-Fi that's causing him to do that. Now
a little bit of both. I'm gonna be honest, a little bit of both.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Seabass, let me come over to you. Your Wi-Fi is great today. Am I looking too deep into this, or is this normal? And I just don't know that yet, because normally college basketball, it starts in the top 5 or 10 teams. We're talking about them. KU, they get me by great. We say nothing. Duke beats Auburn. I didn't even know Auburn was number 2 in the country. Am I wrong?
I don't think that you're wrong. I was going to say that I think it's just the time of year. The beginning of the college basketball season really doesn't kick off until Christmas time for me anyway. But now that I listen here to young Peyton, and you're maybe there is a little bit to it with more schools being involved in the college playoff. You got more teams that are still in it, right? Want to be in it. I mean, bowl season's always a thing, but I don't know. For me, I really don't pay attention to college basketball that deep until the new year anyway, because I'm still in the middle of NFL playoffs, college football, bowl games, and all of that. The NBA, same thing. I mean, they drag along. Same with hockey. I really don't get into those myself until after the new year because I'm kind of into football.
30 seconds for DG. It does seem like the NBA, the only news we're talking about with them is negative news.
Yeah, and that's what we don't want to have is the negativity that surrounds the NBA. But I really do think that after Christmas is where you get the NBA kind of just rearing their head again. And then you see January, where the Lakers have 16 games in January, mind you. And so at that point, you're going to start seeing the NBA tick up a little bit.
Yeah, they don't even have Christmas Day to themselves anymore. It's on Wednesday this year. And the Chiefs are playing on a Wednesday in the NFL. They don't care about the NBA. They're going to step on their throats that day too. So we'll see what happens on a Wednesday. All right, with Soupy in the chat, on the other side, we're talking prize picks from Young Peyton. Also, we play that very popular game of over or under. I don't like to make it complicated for the crew, especially not today. It is Thursday. It's a vibe. It's DTL. All right, you degenerates out there, you know who you are. Really good live number today. Now, in the chat, Soupy says, oh, yeah, I beat Peyton for the 8th time. He says that. I can't keep track of all of these dubs. But then Joe has King Lettuce is back, and he says Soupy shows when UConn wins, disappears during a 3-game losing streak. Peyton, I don't know if you know the fandom that is Soupy, but that's kind of his MO.
So he was taking a shot at Soupy for me. Is that what I'm getting at here?
Yeah. I'm like 3 seconds behind. Yes, you're right. I thought you were gonna go at Soupy, not Joe. So yes, correct. DG, help me here, please. Help me here.
Everybody's taking shots at Soupy. That's just understood. Like when you say something, yes, that's probably the truth.
And DG's taking shots at Soupy Raphael without his mouth even moving. That's even harder to do.
I'm trying to figure out if I want blurry DG or Kung Fu DG. I don't know which one I want. So, but it's a great show today. It's Thursday. We have a great Thursday night football game, Coach.
Seabass. Soupy, of course, is his legendary trash talk coming through strong in the chat. He goes, I was on the next day when UConn lost and Dan Hurley's fit. Not quite the hardcore trash talk Seabass we're looking for, but he tries.
Coach, don't worry. My wife, she has a lot of clients, mostly in the pageant world. But if you've ever seen her on Housewives, she'll teach you a thing or two. We'll sign you guys up. You'll be great trash talkers in no time. What do you think I learned?
Your wife can talk. There is no doubt about that. And she will cut you in half if you don't bring it strong. That's for damn sure.
It's like the saying goes, Coach. Don't start none, won't be none. She doesn't start it, but she'll finish it.
Don't start none, don't be none. By the way, Justin says young Peyton transformed into our man Buckets just for a second. Buckets, if you're out there watching right now, plenty of love still left for you, big boy. One day, him and Charles are going to be quite the tag team. One day or day one. Think about that, young Peyton. Deep. We're back in 5 seconds. All right, we have crossed the bottom of the hour. Do not forget, we are on all of the stadium apps every single day, 3 p.m. Eastern time. You don't want to miss it, especially today as we get you set. They have a full betting block all over Amazon Prime Video, DirecTV, YouTube TV, Roku TV. The list goes on and on. We are everywhere. All right? Now, we are really invested in PrizePicks. Why? Because it's very simple. From the most complicated bettor, you can understand it, down to the most novice, somebody who's just starting. So we brought in a young Peyton to kind of get after young Soupy, just young, big Soupy, just a little bit. But Peyton, on Thursdays, you have it all to yourselves. So I know today you put together a little something for us. Where are we going? A little bounce back for you from Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Bounce back for me. I'm going with Jaden Reed, more than 56.5 receiving yards tonight. Romeo Dobbs is out, and I think we're going to see a big Jaden Reed game with some big completions for him. I'm also going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs, more than 68.5 rush yards. He's averaging 81 rush yards a game, 6 yards per carry, and he's hit this line in his last 4 of 5 games. My demon pick tonight is Jordan Love, more than 274.5 pass yards. Detroit's defense has been nice, but mainly against the run. They have a top 5 run defense, but they've allowed the 8th most passing yards in the NFL at 227. I'm not expecting them to be losing by much, but I'm expecting Green Bay to be down in this game, giving Jordan Love some nice big completions late. That'll put him over this line.
All right, 3 big plays from young Peyton. By the way, he did go 2-0 with his show picks on Tuesday, so you were solid there. Let's bring the whole crew back on for a second. A little reaction. DG, what do you make of any of the – oh, we have no DG. What a shock. The show just gets better and better. Raphael, let me come over to you. Any of these 3 that you like before we get to over and unders?
I do like the Jordan Love one. I think if they're playing from behind, they're going to have to throw the ball. And he's the secondary of the Lions is probably their biggest question mark of the team in general. And they're still banged up on defense. So I'll take Jordan Love's number.
Seabass, what about you, big boy?
I like the Jahmyr Gibbs number. I've already got him in a play tonight with the over 90.5 rushing and receiving yards. So I'll take that over on this rushing yards, leave me less receiving yards to make.
These guys are a dynamic duo. David Montgomery, I think they're the hardest duo to make plays on in the entire NFL because they're both fantastic. And every time that I play one guy, then the other guy goes off. They're the only pair of teammates ever in the history of the NFL to each have 10-plus touchdowns in consecutive seasons. That's how good these guys are. So smart play by Seabass, because Gibbs could go off in the passing game tonight. Montgomery could run, or it could flip. These two guys, they do not care. Yes, Seabass, go.
I got a question for Raphael. Is there a book that's out there offering a combined total for Gibbs and Montgomery? Can you find that anywhere?
I haven't seen one, but you know what? I'll post one up and see if people will copy and paste.
You're damn right. It kind of is nice to have somebody on your crew who makes lines for a living. Boom and boom. Great question, Seabass.
Great question.
Maybe I could have you host one of these days.
You know, I've been thinking about it. I saw that show the other night.
Oh,
Hey,
I'm just saying I saw it like as an option, you know, like other people are hosting. I don't know.
that is how you talk trash as somebody comes back up. Do you have a response to that?
I'm not even sure what you're talking about, honestly, but I know there was the running backs. I'm big on the Detroit running backs tonight, but not on Green Bay, if that's what we're
We were
talking
just
about.
talking about Seabass cracking on you.
Oh,
And you're going
sorry.
back to Gibbs and Montgomery? This
I was-
is way more fun.
Professional, coach. Professional.
His Wi-Fi's that
Oh.
behind. He didn't hear the burn.
Yeah, this is bad.
Rob says, damn, Seabass.
I told you I learned well.
Cortez says, Seabass with the shots, too. John said, see, I told you don't want any of that smoke from Seabass. Oh, just boom, boom, boom. By the way, speaking of booms, we'll talk about it at the break. I don't know if you guys saw the latest superstar to do a segment with the boom and doom guys from Costco. We'll talk about it at the break. I think I'm the uncool one after what I saw on social media last night. We'll talk about it in about 8 minutes. But it's time to play that very popular game called Over and Under. And we're going to add a seventh one today because we go 2, 2, and 2. The over and under on how many more minutes that DG lasts before he has to dip out again. So I'm going to let him start. So at least maybe he can do one. And we're going to do what we like to call in the industry piggyback. And it'll go DG, Raphael, Young Peyton, and Seabass. Hopefully we can figure that out. All right, let's start with the quarterbacks tonight. Jordan Love on one side, 251 and a half currently. DG, over or under?
I'm going to go over on Love, the passing yards. I think they're going to be in catch-up mode, but also the only way to win this game, Jordan Love's got to throw the ball.
I'm going over 251 and a half as well, just like I'm going over 2.5 dip outs that DG has to go.
I'm going to take Jordan Love. Over
Whoa. We couldn't even get through one. It was DG, Raphael, Peyton, Seabass.
No,
Peyton,
no.
I
wrote
literally
it.
just said it. Run it back. Did I not just say that, Raphael?
You did.
I was
did.
going off the pre-production notes where there was the different orders. But okay, my bad. My bad.
Peyton, you are after Raphael. This is just a disaster today, but I'm loving it. Oh, God. Peyton, go.
It's King Lettuce, coach. I'm going over 251 and a half, thinking Jordan Love, because I do think they're going to be in catch-up mode, like DG mentioned. And the only way the Packers are going to win this game is if he throws the ball.
I would like to take Jordan Love over 251.5 passing yards for 200, please.
Pat says, go after Coach Seabass. Pat, don't give them any ideas, damn it. Do not give them any ideas. All right. And by the way, embracing his nickname when he didn't even want it at first, and now he's walking around campus. People are screaming, hey, King Lettuce. Now he loves it. All right. Over or under, DG, Jared Goff?
Well, I'm going to go under, just like my Wi-Fi just dipped. I'm going under on Goff because there is zero chance that they throw it deep tonight.
So close to getting that over 2.5, but I'm going to go over with Jared Goff, 254.5, just because I think he's going to have a lot of yak yards with his wide receivers, and we're going to have an over game. So I think he has a big game.
I'm going with Jared Goff under 254 and a half tonight because I think that he only threw the ball 22 times this last time against Green Bay. So I'm going under.
Thing about this Lions team is they don't have to win with Jared Goff. He doesn't have to throw for a lot of yards. He's shown that this season. So I'm going to take him under as well, 254.5 yards.
It's very interesting, Raphael, that you are using the word yak today, because I was going to use the word yuck. Very similar. Our resident benefactor, Roberto Bibo, is here, and he says, I'm placing that bet right now at minus 200, Raphael, for DG's Wi-Fi. All right, let's go to the running backs. And we've got actually 3 really good ones, but only 2 that we can talk about. So since Seabass is all in on Jahmyr Gibbs, we put him on the screen. But let's start with the visitor, Josh Jacobs. He's been amazing this year for the Packers. DG, over or under his total?
I know Detroit's defense is a little banged up, but they've only allowed the running back to go over their line in 33% of games this season. So I'm going to go under on Josh Jacobs.
I'm also going under 70.5, but go for rushing and receiving yards over. Under on receiving, over and receiving, under and rushing.
I like Josh Jacobs' receiving yards as well for some little short completions towards the end of the game. So I'm going to go under the rush yards, over receiving yards.
Take Josh Jacobs under the 70.5 yards. That Detroit defensive front is just tough. I don't see them getting a lot of rush yards tonight.
Sorry, I was just reading George in the chat. I will not read it, but it made me laugh. Oh, my God. What is happening today? All right, Jahmyr Gibbs on the other side. DG, over, under.
Over on Gibbs. I like his rushing, and then I like the receiving on Montgomery tonight.
I'm going under because I don't want to catch that Wi-Fi issue that he's having. So I'm going opposite. So I'm going under 68.5 because I think Montgomery has a better game.
I'm going over Jahmyr Gibbs, 68.5. Detroit's going to be up. They're going to be feeding him the ball to get some yardage. I think he breaks out for a big tackle tonight.
Since I've got Jahmyr Gibbs in a rush receiving play already, I'm a little concerned with the rush yards. That's why I played it that way. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Jahmyr Gibbs under the 68.5 rush yards tonight.
Very interesting. Next level. Next screen, and we've got 2 terrific wideouts tonight. And maybe a couple more that we need to talk about as well. Jaden Reed, DG, are we going over or under 60.5?
Jaden Reed's been cold the last 3 games, but this is a good bounce back opportunity for him. I'm going to go over for Reed, over 60.5 receiving yards.
Over 6.5. You don't think these 2 quarterbacks watched the last game with the Browns? If their quarterbacks throwing big yardage, the receivers are going to have big games. So I'm going over 60.5.
I believe he had 113 receiving yards last time they played Detroit. So I'm going to go with Jaden Reed tonight, especially with Dobbs out.
Jaden Reed looks like an easy play here at 60.5 yards. I'm going to go over. Jordan Love is going to be throwing the ball tonight. I think they're going to get those yards.
John in the chat likes Christian Watson over 49.5 receiving yards at minus 115. He'll be on the other side for the Packers tonight. Now, you guys know I'm on catches for Amon-Ra St. Brown, but what about his yards? DG, over or under?
Coach, I saw your play, so I went under on St. Brown here at the under 68.5 receiving yards.
I'm also going under 68.5 yards just because I think it's going to be a run-type game for Detroit if they have a big lead in the second half.
I think so, too. I think it's going to be really run heavy, and we went under on Amon-Ra.
I just can't trust Jared Goff to have big games consistently. I'm going to have to go Amon-Ra St. Brown under 68.5 yards.
Well, we're in trouble after the show.
This was potentially the most painful segment I've ever been a part of at DTL. Justin says, producer man helping coach carry the squad to the promised land. Justin, I don't even know what the promised land is at this point, but we know Soupy always coming in strong with the trash talk. My daughter just dumped her whole toy box, and it's less crazy than what I'm watching right here. Now all I can think about is Soupy sitting on the floor playing with his daughter, who may, and she doesn't even talk yet, trash talk better than him. That's how bad it is. All right, still to come on the show. Mercifully, our live number continues to go up somehow. We don't know. But there is one very important commissioner that ain't happy, and he's talking smack. We discuss it next. It's DTL. It's a Thursday, and it's a vibe. All right, you degenerates out there continuing to watch on our YouTube page, do not forget to hit the like button on your way in. So the Baltimore Ravens, DG, have suspended Deontay Johnson, who was the leading receiver for the Panthers when they traded him. He refused to go in the game against the Eagles. One game, and John Harbaugh wouldn't even commit to whether or not he would be on the team after the one-game suspension. Have you ever seen such a thing that a guy who's playing pretty well goes to a new team that's a playoff team and then says, I'm good?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Something's not adding up because you go from Carolina, who's trash, to a good team, and you're a good receiver. Why would you not get in the game? But then why are you acting like this when you're not getting it? I don't understand it. There's something fishy here.
He was great in Pittsburgh, and then he leaves and goes to Carolina. Seabass, I don't get this either.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Antonio Brown?
I have.
Very, very similar situation. I mean, sort of. He was very good with Pittsburgh, had some issues, got down to Tampa Bay with a good team in Tom Brady. Next thing you know, he's shoulder pads, jersey off, thrown in the stands, and he's never to be heard from again except on the X.
By the way,
I don't know what's going on over there in Baltimore.
Did anybody see Mike Tomlin got to ask about Antonio Brown wanted to play for free for the rest of the season? He was asked the question, and he just turned and walked out of the room. He won't even say his name. Raphael, your thoughts?
The youngsters who are watching this show, have you heard of Scottie Pippen? Scottie Pippen did this in the NBA, so it didn't shock me that we're seeing it in the NFL. And of course he's going to do it. He went to Carolina where he was a star. There was no other wide receivers throwing to him because the team stinks. It didn't shock me that I saw this.
Young Peyton.
It's a little confusing, Coach. There had to be something else that went wrong there. And, I mean, how do you go to another team and you don't want to play? Especially, like you mentioned, especially when you're a playoff squad. But Ravens aren't showing much, 8-5.
They are not. By the way, Austin in the chat has a really good idea. He goes, how about you do the rest of the show in Jeopardy fashion, Coach? Everybody just start answering in the form of a question. I think that's what we've done the entire hour, Austin, so far. So why change now? Why change now? All right. We'll see what happens now. We're back in 5 seconds. All right, you crazy people. We are back. It is DTL. And the one thing I love about this brand and about these shows is that we're completely different than anybody else. You want to have fun? You bet. You want to learn? You bet. You want to be educated? You bet. All of that you get here, no matter what you're watching. So today, it might seem like a train wreck to you. To me, it's beautiful. Sort of. Now, it's not so beautiful, DG. I'm going to come over to you because as the college football rankings came out yesterday, we were all over them. And everybody's talking about Alabama being ahead of Miami. Well, guess what? The Big 12 commissioner, he ain't happy. He says that the college football rankings committee or playoff committee is looking at logos over resume because Arizona State or Iowa State, the way that it looks right now, whoever goes from the Big 12 probably will not even have a bye. Does he have a point?
Yes, and he's right. But the thing is, he's thinking about money, and that's realistically, that's what the commissioner is thinking about just overall, trying to make sure that the committee that's putting these teams in, they're thinking about revenue, is how do they get the most revenue, and that's the big names. And so, yes, he is correct. They are looking at the names instead of the resumes for sure.
Yeah, to DJ's point, that every team that gets in, it's estimated that they'll make at least $20 million minimum. So if they're not going to get two teams in, Raphael, but if they did have to, then that'd be $40 million for the conference. But he went through a lot of things. He talked for about 5 or 6 minutes on this topic before he even got to the Big 12 championship game. Does he have a point?
He does, because does Iowa State or Arizona State going to bring the same amount of money as, I can't believe I'm going to say this, an SEC team like Alabama or South Carolina? I don't even think South Carolina would bring that much money in there in the SEC. So he's 110% correct. It's all about what money can come in and TV ratings as well, because TV ratings were bad last year for the college football playoffs. Are they going to be boosted up this year just because of the hype we have right now with the 12-team playoff?
There's a lot of hype, but not a lot around Arizona State and Iowa State. Seabass, you're my SEC guy. Talk to me.
He's not wrong at all. I mean, it's always been about money and labels, and it's never, well, I shouldn't say never, but the resume. I mean, what's his resume? I want to know who's he taking out to put in? What bye week is the Big 12 championship winner going to take from somebody else? There's nowhere that you can put them that makes sense. But
he's talking about the Mountain West, that they're like 11-80 against Power 4 teams, and his teams have all won because they're all Power 4 games. That's what he was kind of comparing the two.
No,
I know. Young Peyton, you go to a Big 12 school. What are they saying on campus?
Well, I'm gonna, just because Raphael's got his Crimson Tide hoodie on, I'm gonna go with Alabama. I'm gonna talk about Alabama for like 10 seconds. They were 3-1 against current top 25 teams, and Miami's 0-1. Alabama 6-1 against winning teams, while Miami's 4-2, and Miami's lost 2 of their last 3 games. So I don't really see it as like a fluke throwing Alabama in there. So I do kind of like Bama in the playoff.
Thank you for staying on topic, young Peyton. We were talking about the Big 12, and somehow you went to Alabama and SEC.
I'm not mad at it, Coach. I'm not mad.
I know you're not. Good Lord. All right, if you weren't here at the top of the hour, don't even worry about it. And don't forget, we have very close ties, very close relationships. And tomorrow, if you haven't seen what's coming, the whip around, brought to you by Werewolves, the movie.
Do you remember when Daddy used to tell you that story about the 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf? Do you remember why the big bad wolf couldn't get in the house?
Because it was made of bricks?
Just like your house.
Whatever happens tonight, remember it is my choice.
I know.
We have a 9-hour window to test and record our findings. Good luck tonight.
Are you kidding me right now? I've got my tickets already. Friday night, me and my beautiful children going out to dinner, walking right across the street and watching Werewolves. Who else? Raise their hand. Who's going to support the brand and support the movie? There you go. DG's like on a 4-second delay. Like his hand like magically goes up somehow. All right, 10 seconds or less, 1 nugget or so. DG, let's try and start with you.
All right, we're under 5 hours until I get my new router, but we're going to go with Ayo Dosunmu, an under as well, at under 3.5 rebounds at -125 against San Antonio Spurs. Very stingy on the rebounds allowed. Then we're going to go with the night game is David Montgomery, over 14.5 receiving yards at -115. I like this all the way up to 20, maybe even 25, because I think they're going to dump it off to him out of the backfield.
Yeah, I agree with that. Raphael, let's go over to you.
We're going to Suns team total over 111.5 -110. No KD, no problem, because the Pelicans have dropped 9 straight and they should be firing their head coach maybe tonight. Jared Goff over 1.5 passing TDs -$1.25. Both quarterbacks will have big games through the air.
I think both quarterbacks will have at least 2. I'll get to mine in a second. Young Peyton, you're going straight basketball tonight.
Yes, sir. I'm taking the Grizzlies to cover the 3 against Sacramento Kings, who shoot a brutal 29% from the 3-point land on the road. And the Grizzlies are playing really good basketball right now. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games. I'm also going to go over to college hoops. I'm going to take Xavier to beat my TCU Horned Frogs tonight. It's tough for me to say, but it's going to be a rough year for the Horned Frogs. They don't have what they need offensively to be a competitive team this year, and they're definitely not going to be able to keep up with Xavier's size and athleticism.
It doesn't really feel like it's that hard for you to say.
No.
Seabass.
Coach, tonight we're going to do a little 6.5-point team teaser. We're going to take the Packers at +10 and do the over at 45. Now, you might be able to get it at an actual 6-point teaser, as Raphael mentioned earlier in the show, that line has moved a little bit. But if you can't, pay a little extra juice, take the 6.5-point teaser. Then we're going to go Jahmyr Gibbs over 90.5 rushing and receiving yards combined at -115.
All right, very good. If you're going to cast with the coach, you're going to do a deep plays tonight. We start with the over. I think it's going to be a lot of points. I think both teams get to 30 tonight. Jordan Love, because of said points, will throw at least 2 touchdowns tonight. Tucker Kraft, and I know it's with a K, but everything else is wrong on the show today, so why not misspell Kraft? So I told him to leave it there. Producer man wanted to change it. I said, over 3.5 catches, -115. Had 4 the last time against the Lions, had 6 last week. Big game. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 6.5 catches as well. Then Jordan Love, he will throw for over 300 yards tonight. So that 252.5 is an absolute gift to everybody. By the way, my man Aaron says, this kind of a day on the show is everything I need in the morning, Coach. Thank you guys for what you do for this community. It is a hell of a lot of fun. Even if we're up to 32 mistakes so far. There you go. All right, now, all of you, we're going to be rooting together. Not one person on the crew today picked a straight play, but you guys did. Packers plus 3.5. That is our crew play of the day, courtesy of our man Howie Schwab. God rest his soul. And we always end every single show with Raphael's stat of the day, which today is what?
Well, first off, DraftKings just moved to 3 right now for the football game, so it could be very interesting, but I don't have this there. It goes to NFL teams on Thursday Night Football coming off a Thanksgiving win are 1-6 against the spread when facing an avenged opponent, a.k.a. the Packers.
Is that an avenged opponent? What does avenged opponent mean?
They lost. They played each other already once, so the Packers already played the Lions this year.
Did you understand that, Peyton?
No, I didn't know that. I was going to ask that.
Went deep into a stat today.
You went really deep today.
They made a movie, right? It's a team of people together fighting. Oh, it's a different event. Never mind. Sorry.
That's just a great way to end the show right there. That's just on brand for the last 60 minutes. By the way, Joe says Peyton about to be persona non grata on campus. That's what I'm talking about. I don't want to get a text from you, Peyton, that people were talking to you or yelling at you or running after you. You got to deal with it. You're a star now. You're a star now. That's the way it goes. All right. Thank you, producer, man. Mercifully, we've come to my one shot. And it's time for everybody to go out into the world now and try to do good things. Try to stick together, support each other, and understand that there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. My man Seabass, King Lettuce Peyton, my numbers guy Raphael, DG, sort of, producer man behind the scenes. I am simply the coach, trying to get this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about every single day here at DTL. Good luck.